Hey everybody, welcome to week 3, the diet trap solution. And tonight we're going to be covering internal traps and how we trap ourselves. I don't know about you, but I was like, oh, I got lots of highlights, and it's like, oh man, stuff I got to keep kind of working on here. And so we'll keep on going there. I don't know, have you been trying to read your advantages list the last, we're trying to do those. We wrote our little things of the benefits of, what you're going to benefit by when we make these healthy choices and we get to a healthy weight. We wrote out a whole little, I got my little list here. Have you been trying to read it at least once a day or a couple times a day? Anybody?
I lost the picture now.
You lost the picture?
Yeah, I don't see you.
What, are you on your phone or an iPad or?
I'm on my laptop.
At the top, there's like different views, like speaker view, and there's like a gallery view. There's some little like, see that? When you click on it, does it change the view?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay. I know. It's like all the, how does Zoom work? It's all those little things we kind of learn. It's like, okay, no problem. I'm glad you spoke up because it'd be really no fun to just kind of be, if you're here, you might as well be here. So anyway, so the evangelist, I think that's, I haven't read it quite as many times as I want to, but I do find that by doing that, I find that when my thoughts go to wanting something that I really don't want, some of those things will pop in my head and it's at least kind of in there. So I think that's a really good habit to keep on kind of developing there. And I know another thing we're going to try and work on this week was another thing about sitting down, eating slowly, and trying to enjoy every bite. Did anybody concentrate on that some this week too and get some things going? I tried to, and then later on I would go through one meal, I go, oh, I just kind of like breeze through that one. So it's like, but the heart is just trying to get mindful about all this stuff. So anyway, so we'll keep on going here. So stress traps. This is chapter 3. And anybody had any stress in their life lately?
Yeah.
Like always, huh? Well, let's go through these, and anything you have in there to add, please do. It's like, hey, the first chapter is on page 50. It's called the too busy trap. Sometimes your life feels too packed and stressful to make time for healthy eating. You ever found yourself in that mood? Yeah. Well, and we're just finding that stress, hey, it's an inevitable part of life. We're all going to have stress, and it's varying at different parts in our life. And we may be at one point in time and think, hey, it's going really, really smooth. And then boom, all of a sudden, it's like, oh man, I had my Sunday. I thought I had church Sunday morning and something at church Sunday night. And I thought the rest of the day I had to just kind of get caught up. And from the time I left the house in the morning until I fell back in home at night, it was insane. It's like everything just kind of blew up all at once. It was okay, but it's like, okay, it wasn't the day that I had planned. How do we react to that? Sometimes it's easy to grab. Anything in there with stress that in that little section there that resonated with you, or?
Susan, it's Janet. All of it did. I had to speed read the chapters so I could join this evening, but I think, oh my gosh, I could have written this book. I could have been the patients that she's using as examples. And I don't have any kids at home anymore. It's crazy. Like you said, Susan, I go from one thing to another and didn't plan ahead.
Yeah. Well, I thought the insights that she had about when she really stopped and helped her patients step back and look at their day and come up with solutions. So that is part of the thing of making a plan and figure out what is possible, what can you do that might help change that up a little bit. You guys have any other things that stood out to you in that section?
I was looking at the distraction list and trying to come up with some, distractions, because it's, take a walk. It's like in the winter, it's hard, right? it's what else do you do? And I was reading a little bit in chapter 4, and I think one of it said make a, or go online with an online profile or something. I'm going, wait a minute, stop. So I'm still trying to figure out distraction, or how I can distract myself.
Yep.
Other than walking.
Yep. Did you gals have some other distractions that might help Libby, or things that are working for you, or that you'd like to try and implement?
I
Jogging in. Oh, go ahead, Janet.
No, I just recently picked up an old desire to crochet, and I have found when I keep my hands busy, I don't want to munch and get my yarn dirty. I try to distract myself that way. Hi, Libby. It's good to see you.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't thought jogging in place. I mean, because sometimes I'll be on the phone, I'm on the computer so much that my little Fitbit will go off and it's like, take me for a walk. But I don't have time to go for a walk or it's nasty out. So just even standing up and marching in place a little bit's enough to kind of get something going. I think they mentioned in the book too about playing a game on your phone. So I like play words with friends or something. Sometimes my little, okay, don't do that. So my reward is to play around at this or do something along those lines. Or you could sing a song, or I know I've got a piano, so I could play piano, or my harp. I need to do that. Clean out a drawer. I mean, is your house immaculate? If it is, you come visit Susan. That could be your distraction. Oh. I'll keep you distracted for a long time. Or call a friend.
House is a mess. House is a mess is part of my stress.
No. Yeah, I hear you. And I only have myself to blame.
This isn't necessarily a distraction, but I don't know where I even heard this. When I get like hunger pains and I'm not, it's not time to eat or whatever, if you clench, pull your stomach in and clench it and count to like maybe 30 or something. For me, if I do that maybe a couple times, for some reason that, I don't know, I stop the hunger pains, and then I can go on about my day. So,
I think it's good. That work is a distraction because you're focusing someplace else. I guess you could go to a coworker and ask him to slap you, and if it hurts worse, then no.
I do that. Like if I wake up in the middle of the night and your body's like, oh, it's time, I'm awake, it's time to eat. And I'll do that then because I definitely don't want to get out of bed for anything. So.
Like, that's good. I like it. Any other thoughts? They were saying like on 53 that really, said recognizing that you are a human and have limits. We always try to be Wonder Woman, want to rip our little jackets back and have the big S show up. Reconsider your priorities and delegate tasks that can be done to others. And I like that you have to fit the rest of your life around healthy eating. And it's not that we become obsessed about it, but especially right now while we're trying to get healthy, that is one of the things that we're trying to have a focus on and develop those skills so that does become more the automatic response. And she says, look at your daily schedule. You can't add water to a glass that's already completely full. Like, oh boy, well, we got so much stuff going on already, and we try to add one more thing. No wonder that adds stress. So it's kind of the old picture of putting the boulders in first, and then the littler rocks, and then the gravel, and then the sand, and figure out what are those things that are really important. So number 2 was the unreasonable rules trap. You create overly restrictive rules for yourself that lead to stress. Anybody have any thing on that one?
I don't think I have enough rules. Because I'm thinking I'm not making rules. So.
Well, she says that those sabotaging thoughts often have should or have to or need to or an absolute word like always or every or never. And, like she said, that we make time, I thought of was we make time and find energy and resources for what's important to us. Like she was saying, okay, if you had kidney failure and needed dialysis, would you be able to fit that into your schedule? Well, yeah. So it's kind of like the things that are really important to us, you find a way somehow. And it's like you may make some sacrifices, but if it's really worth it, get going there. I love the thing about the oxygen mask. Or when you're in an airline, you know, you got to put that oxygen mask on first. You don't take care of yourself first, you aren't going to be able to help those that you love and want to help. And talking about whole stress relief and just figuring out some ways. I mean, maybe it's taking a hot bath or, you know, giving yourself a little manicure or something. Whatever feels good. I mean, you can even do a little hand massage or something. Those little things are simple to do, and that could even be a distraction kind of thing. Give yourself a little thing there. And the third one is the de-stress with food trap. You eat to relax after a stressful day. That was definitely me, man. I'd work all day and then I would do really good and actually be really healthy. And then you get home at night and it's like things would just fall apart. And so it's kind of learning to break that cycle. Is that one of the things that's been a challenge for you guys, or any thoughts in that section? Yeah.
I mean,
For me, I think for me, going when I work at home, and I do really well up until the time I end work, and then I head right for the refrigerator and open it, and it's like I've got to find another way to distract myself.
Yeah, I liked one too. It's like that guy had his whole thing where he's kind of the same thing. He'd go right for something else and look at the schedule. So your habit has become, I finish work and I go to the kitchen and open the refrigerator. So it was like, maybe instead you need to go to your bedroom and do something, or comb your hair, or do your nails, something, or in there, or find something new that you can do. It's time to brush your teeth. Then you don't want to eat after you brush your teeth, or something that kind of breaks that habit. And that might be like just getting that cycle out of the way.
Yeah, that's a good.
What were you going to say, Valerie?
Don't remember.
Well, if it comes back to you, don't be shy. We'll be here for a little while longer. Yeah. The fourth one is when things calm down, you think it's going to be too difficult to work on healthy eating during a stressful time. And, we think, oh, man, it's just one more thing I got to do. It's going to make it harder. But you know what? I found out, especially on the program that I coach there, it's got so much structure that it actually has helped me to not have to stress and have to think about so much stuff. So once you kind of get it going, it actually can be easier. But we have that thing in our mind that, I got to wait until, I got to get past. And it's like, hey, we're all diving in and doing something. Is there anything else in that little section that stood out to you?
That one really resonated with me. I find myself doing that, like when my son graduates or my daughter, or after this event, after the holidays. So that was really, but I really liked what she said on page 61 was when you go through a stressful time and lose control over your eating, that loss of control actually makes you feel more stressed. And that's through that vicious cycle, and realizing that there's always going to be stress of some sort. And how am I going to handle that? How am I going to deal with that? Having that ability to stay on plan and feel more in control, and to feel proud of yourself for doing that, I think that would at least help alleviate some stress, I would hope, but it'll take some practice.
Yeah. I think recognizing it is one of the big things, and figuring out all that stuff out there. And that's just part of life. There's no chance you're going to get rid of it. So you need to learn how to manage it. And I thought her thing on the little exercise on 62, it's like we were talking about, think even when a client tells me, oh my gosh, we're going to this Christmas party, or we're going to this whatever, it's a good thing to talk through. Or, man, we're going to this friend's house and they got food, and just talking through the scenario. Okay, and think of what you want to do, and having a plan, and how just, what if, and once you've already rehearsed it in your mind, so when you're in that situation, you already have been there in some ways. And so being able to stick with your healthy choices and knowing how to come back is good. So I think that's really good kind of stuff helping. She says, hey, reflect and recommit about why you want to escape this trap, because you have a choice. And I think that's one thing that they kind of bring too, is remember, nobody's making you do this. You do have a choice. You always have a choice. And the stress is going to be there either way. Do you want to feel stressed and bad about yourself? Or do you want to feel stressed and better about yourself? So it's kind of like, it's up to you there. So I thought that was some good stuff. Any other thoughts about that stress chapter? Anything else stand out to you guys? Maybe? I was telling Valerie, I was over at the Dutchman. I was on my way to accompany a friend in Marysville, so I wanted to go over there kind of early. And so I got a healthy dinner and was eating my car. I made a couple of client calls and stuff, and my battery went dead. And it was like, there I am. I'm supposed to be in Marysville to accompany her within the hour with a dead car. And it's like, and it's funny. I saw it go through my mind. Oh my gosh. And I don't even like those long johns and stuff. But my thought went back to the sweets that were in there. I don't even, I'm thinking, where did that even come from? It's because we do something that stress comes up. It's like, we kind of go, where did that come from? So, no, I didn't act on it. I was good. It's like, but I'm so glad, because I wouldn't have felt good, and I'd have been disappointed in myself and frustrated, and I felt like a real hypocrite coming out here to tell you about stress traps if I'd have just fallen into one. No, but I didn't. We're good. So, anyway, so chapter 4, emotional eating traps. Says when you experience negative emotions, you may have a strong cravings for food. You may even believe that it's the only way to calm you down, or that you deserve to comfort yourself. It becomes your default response. And food can actually, and she says it does. It can comfort, console, distract, and soothe. But food will never solve the problem. It's actually likely to have you experience regret for straying from your plan. Feel even worse than before you started eating. And so she talks about, emotional eating will never solve in the program. We do a BLAST little acronym. So you may be doing it because you're bored, or you're lonely, or you're angry, or you're sad, or you're tired. What else? I mean, celebrations. There's all kinds of reasons. And that the thing on page 66 that was like, where I feel like it really hit me, was that you may not even be fully aware of how you are feeling, but you find yourself heading to the kitchen for an unplanned stop. And I think for me, a lot of that it's such a habit that I just go through that I don't always know how I'm feeling. I don't think about it. And even trying to think about what am I feeling is kind of a challenge at times. Do you guys have that feeling at all? Or are you kind of aware once you start thinking about it?
I sometimes think I'm in a daze. I eat something and then didn't realize until later. I think, what did I just do? Why did I do that? It's all emotional eating for me. But I don't know why sometimes. I'm numb. Yes, Susan.
Yeah, I think it's very true. And she says accepting distress is a learning process. So that's what we're trying to do is, she says a reasonable interim strategy is to focus on something else. So even if we can't figure out at the moment, we can kind of use maybe some of those distraction kind of techniques to help us to get our brain shifted away. Number one thing on here on page 66 was the trying to numb pain trap. You believe it's not okay to feel negative emotions, so you need to eat something to calm down. And, like, can you relate to that one?
Yeah, well, I think for me, having other addictions, I think in some respects, food is a numb the pain, an addiction, a numb the pain for me personally. It's not a good thing.
She basically took some of the power out of it and said emotions aren't inherently good or bad. So feeling something doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. So even being sad isn't necessarily bad or good. It's an emotion. And so we recognize it that way. And she said, think about the waves. And they do. It's like if you wait long enough, you'll kind of ride it out. Sometimes it's a longer ride than others. But they do. They kind of will peak and valley and kind of keep you going there. And I think just recognizing, we don't need food to manage upset emotions. We just think we do. It's all those couple pounds between our ears that get us going there. Hey, Lydia. Oh, so good. Then we've got on 69, the no alternative trap. You believe that if you're upset, the only thing you can do is eat. And I love the thing about her grandma. Hey, how many of us were trained by our grandmas and our moms would get upset? Oh, here, honey, have a whatever. Oh, here's some ice cream. You know, they didn't know how to calm us down, so they did it with food. So I think that's how a lot of us learned these little patterns that we struggle with now.
Cookies make everything feel better, according to Grandma.
Yeah, the gospel according to Grandma. And what is that song? I like big butts come to mind. Not Grandma, but the more cookies we eat, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But I think that one, she says, you know, the good news is, even if you have a long history of calming yourself with food, it doesn't mean you can't change. It's a learned behavior that you can unlearn. And so that's kind of where that distraction list comes in mind again, where you feel that pull toward whatever it is in your life, and instead you pull out your little card or your sheet or whatever that has your distractions. And, you know, I think that's another thing, kind of reading those and having them in my mind that takes some other action. It doesn't even take long, but get something done there.
I liked her point on 71 when, you know, she said, do you want one problem or do you want three problems? Like, yeah, that's a pretty good picture.
Yeah, I agree. Right now, I think I got to write that card out. I haven't really gotten very good at writing cards yet. I think I wrote a novel. I'm like, okay, I think that's too much. I think I probably had like 3 cards on one. So, okay, I need to learn to break these down to little things that I can do. But you're right. Like hitting those little things to make that thing. Any other thoughts on that one? The next one is the entitlement eating trap. You believe you deserve to comfort yourself with food. Okay, this was the one that was like, wah, 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 for Susan. It's like, okay. I even remember 16 years ago, Linda Lawson, and we worked out like every day, and I was on something, whatever she was pushing at the time and doing things. And I remember I broke the planner and she goes, oh, why did you do that? And I go, well, there was one thing I could do that I could kind of treat myself. And I wanted to treat myself. It's like the rest of life was pretty miserable in a lot of ways. And so that was one thing that, hey, for $1, you can go get a sundae at McDonald's. And no, it didn't solve the problem. And I felt guilty about doing it. But at the moment, that was my reaction and response.
Yeah, I made the 3. I think someone said, I forgot who said it, on 71, it made the 3 problems versus the 1.
Like that.
Yeah, it does. It just kind of multiplies it. And while we're eating it, you know, you may feel better, but it's that such a short-term feeling for that long-term, what we're really trying to accomplish on what we really want is our advantages list. That's the long-term, the big picture that really is going to make us feel great. And we're in process of getting there, but what do you really want? And another thing was like, aren't I entitled to feel better? Because of course you are. But aren't you also entitled to get all the benefits of eating healthy and losing weight? And like, oh, yeah, we kind of don't think of that. We tend to think about it as being punishment or deprivation, or, you know, it's all those negative things that are typically tied in with dieting. But of course, our heart isn't to diet, but to make it a lifestyle change for losing. And we want to have these changes because there's a whole bunch of wonderful things on the other side that, hey, we're wanting. Any other things that came up to your mind on that one? You know, we talked earlier about how sometimes we would come home and that's when we just kind of wanted to fall apart and just grab whatever at the end of the day there. And said, even if I had a hard day, aren't you going to feel better eating that healthy meal? It's like we think we're going to be, we're going to feel better with that Big Mac and fries, when in reality we won't. Probably feel pretty crappy and be belching all night if you actually did that. But if you actually had a really delicious, healthy meal, you're going to feel good. You're going to be happy inside about yourself, but you're also physically going to be feeling a whole lot better. And I think focusing on those things and reminding, like last week, what was one of our things we were going to work on there, Valerie, that you were doing good about?
Oh, congratulating ourselves when we do something right.
Exactly. And so it's like those things when you do make a healthy choice, it doesn't have to be anything big, or if you've had any kind of victory, take time to go, way to go, Melanie, that was awesome. Oh, Libby, good job. I'm proud of you. Good, Janet. Valerie, yeah, you got it. Victory, V. V is for Valerie and victory. You write yourself a cheer. So, yeah, I think those are good. And when we're looking for comfort, you know, I'd like to think on 75 where she said, the food may seem like a treat, but it's actually the opposite of a treat. When you are impulsively get unhealthy food, and somebody in a group not too long ago, they were talking about something about, are you treating yourself or are you mistreating yourself? And it's like, oh yeah, that was kind of a little, I like that little twist on the words there, because all that chocolate may think it's a treat, but really it's mistreating myself and not doing good for my body. And then she's got some comforting activities, so that may be something else to consider. What are things that would be kind of comforting and give you the warm fuzzies? If you got a pet, maybe it's snuggling with them for a little while, or if you got a husband, that may be the case, or your kids. You know, just curl up with a soft blanket and watch a romantic comedy, listen to music and dance, take a hot bath with aromatherapy. Yeah. You know, what the different ones are. And it's a process. I mean, she says on there, hey, the first few weeks were difficult and you had to fight against her giving in muscle. But as it went on, it got easier. And so that's what we remember. It's like, hey, we are working. It's like when you first go into the gym, you don't go and bench press 500 pounds. You may never get to that point. But you start with a small weight, and then you slowly are increasing it. And that's what we're doing, is trying to get the muscles that aren't the physical muscles to get stronger. And that's part of where that reading advantages list is kind of strengthening that for us. The number 4 one is killing time trap. It's turning to food when you're bored, tired, or procrastinating. And is that anything in that little section stand out to you?
Yeah, that was the one that said make an online dating profile. Start to look at what guys have posted. I'm thinking, what? Oh, I lost.
A particular client maybe desired to have a significant other, so doing a dating profile. As a married woman, I wouldn't suggest you do that, Melanie. Oh. 77, she said she labeled what she was feeling as hungry, but she wasn't actually experiencing symptoms of hunger. Sometimes I think that we're kind of, we just assume that we're kind of feeling hungry, or it's time in our head to eat or whatever. It's after work, so we're going to go to the refrigerator. That kind of cycle of going, when we really think about it, we may not even really be hungry. It's like you just have to walk into the kitchen and there was something on the counter that caught your eye. And but the next time you find yourself eating and aren't sure why, we've all kind of said we've done that one. Ask yourself whether you're feeling a little uncomfortable or fatigued. You break that cycle. And like, would you rather stay overweight or break the habit of eating when you're not supposed to? And emotional eating is a learned behavior, and it's entirely optional. Eating isn't optional, but emotional eating is optional. And again, on 82, she says, in other words, do you want to have one problem or do you want to have 3? And you just like, hey, keep it simple. Let's just go for one challenge at a time. Do you guys have any other thoughts or questions or helps, things that stood out to you in the couple sections there? I think there's so much info, and it's like one of those things where we just digest, and we're just taking little pieces and keep applying it. I think, keep going that advantage list, and, you may add to it, but I say encourage us all to keep trying to read it more, keep it someplace handy. So for next week, this is going to be chapters 5 and 6, and these are the interpersonal traps. So this is going to be dealing with the food pushers. Oh, here, honey, just have a little bit of this. Oh, one bite won't hurt, and also family traps. So, and it may not be your physical family. It may be your church family, or there could be different levels of some of those dynamics are true in a lot of those settings. So keep on reading those advantage lists. Keep working on sitting down and eating slowly, taking little bites, and on patting yourself on the back, giving yourself a attaboy when you need it. Don't be shy. Keep doing that. And as you get going, those little reminder cards, I think starting your little deck of things these are like your little scripts, so that when you find yourself in a scenario, you can easily whip it out, because there's such good wording, and she's done here, you can create your own. But when you're in your calm and rational state, you can kind of think of those things, where in a frenzy, those words are like, oh, what was it that I was learning? Oh man, what was that? What was I supposed to do when I got in this situation? And if you got those little things there, that can be really handy. And then keep working on building your resistance muscle. So the more you say, no, thank you, and oh no, and then congratulate yourself when you have done that, hey, the stronger it's going to become. So, all right. Hey, I'm glad you are all here tonight, and hopefully it's been valuable and give you some other insights. Anything else any of you would like to add? All right. Well, hey, keep me posted. If I can help you anyway, let me know. And otherwise, go out and make it a great week and avoid the traps.